This is why you need to watch this if you struggle with trusting political leaders. They stood tall, radiating charisma. Their presence was magnetic, drawing the eyes and ears of everyone in the crowd. The air was thick with anticipation, as if the very atmosphere was charged with the electricity of hope. Their voices boomed across the rally, filled with conviction. Each word they spoke seemed to resonate deeply with the people, echoing their own desires and dreams. The crowd hung on their every word, believing that they were the one who could bring about the change they so desperately needed. "Change is coming!" they roared, promising a brighter future for all. Their promises were grand, painting a picture of a Nigeria where everyone had equal opportunities, where poverty was a thing of the past, and where prosperity was within everyone's reach. Their words dripped with honeyed promises: jobs, education, healthcare. They spoke of new schools, better hospitals, and more jobs. They promised to tackle corruption and to ensure that the wealth of the nation was shared among all its citizens, a utopia within reach, if only they would elect them. The crowd cheered, their hopes soaring with each promise they made. They believed that they were the leader who could turn their dreams into reality. They painted a vivid picture of prosperity, a stark contrast to the harsh reality many Nigerians face daily. The slums, the poverty, the struggle for basic necessities. All of it seemed like it could be a thing of the past if their promises were fulfilled. Little did they know, their words were but smoke and mirrors, masking a hunger for personal gain. Behind their charismatic facade lay a different agenda, one that prioritized their own wealth and power over the well-being of the people. Their pockets would soon overflow, while theirs remained empty. The promises of jobs, education, and healthcare were forgotten as they indulged in a life of luxury, far removed from the struggles of the common people. This is the story of broken promises and shattered dreams, a tale tragically familiar in the halls of power. It is a reminder of the dangers of placing blind faith in leaders who speak of change but act in self-interest. The people of Nigeria, like many others around the world, continue to hope for a leader who will truly put their needs first, but the cycle of promises and disappointments seems unending. If you found this story compelling, please like, share, and subscribe to Star Global TV on YouTube for more insightful content. Nigeria, a land pulsating with life, diverse cultures, and abundant resources, yet it carries the heavy burden of poverty, inequality, and corruption. Millions struggle daily, their dreams stifled by a system seemingly rigged against them. Access to basic necessities, healthcare, education, even clean water remains a distant dream for many. The gap between the haves and have-nots yawns wide, a constant reminder of the nation's unfulfilled potential. It is against this backdrop of struggle that the leaders emerged, a beacon of hope in a sea of despair. Their rise was meteoric. "They are men of the people," they said, someone who understood their struggles. Their campaigns were a whirlwind of rallies and speeches, each more electrifying than the last. They spoke their language, felt their pain, and promised to be the change they desperately yearned for. They vowed to tackle corruption, create jobs, and invest in education and healthcare. Their words resonated deeply, igniting a flicker of hope in the hearts of millions. They were their champion, the one who would finally lead them to the promised land. "We will fight for you," they declared, their voices echoing with conviction. "Free education for every child," he promised. "Affordable healthcare within everyone's reach. Jobs, not handouts, to uplift the masses. Infrastructure projects to connect communities and fuel economic growth." They pledged to eradicate corruption, that insidious cancer eating away at the nation's soul. Their words were like a soothing balm on their wounds, offering solace in the promise of a brighter tomorrow. They believed them, for what else could they do but cling to hope? Years passed, and the leaders' promises rang hollow. The hope that had once burned bright began to flicker and fade. The promised jobs never materialized. Schools remained underfunded, hospitals ill-equipped. The gap between rich and poor widened, a chasm of inequality. The people, once so hopeful, grew disillusioned and angry. Their lives remained unchanged, their dreams deferred. The leaders, once their savior, became a symbol of broken promises and betrayed trust. Whispers turned into murmurs, then grew into a chorus of outrage. The truth, like a festering wound, could no longer be ignored. Reports surfaced of vast sums of public funds vanishing into thin air, offshore accounts, shell companies, and a web of deceit began to unravel. The leaders once hailed as a champion of the people, stood exposed as a wolf in sheep's clothing. The very people entrusted to safeguard their future had been robbing them blind. The betrayal cut deep, leaving an indelible scar on the nation's psyche. A global epidemic, corruption knows no borders. Corruption is a pervasive issue that transcends geographical boundaries, affecting nations both rich and poor, developed and developing. It is a complex and multifaceted problem that manifests in various forms, from bribery and embezzlement to nepotism and fraud. Sadly, this tale of greed and betrayal is not unique to Nigeria. In Nigeria, corruption has deeply entrenched itself in the political and economic systems, affecting the lives of ordinary citizens. The impact is felt in the lack of basic services, poor infrastructure, and the erosion of trust in public institutions. From the highest offices to the humblest of positions, corruption has wormed its way into the fabric of societies worldwide. It is not just a problem of the developing world, even the most advanced economies are not immune. In many countries, corruption has become so normalized that it is almost an accepted part of doing business or governance. We've seen it in Brazil's Operation Car Wash, where billions were siphoned off through inflated contracts. This massive corruption scandal involved top executives, politicians, and business leaders, revealing the extent to which corruption can permeate every level of society. We've witnessed it in South Africa's state capture scandal, where private interests hijacked the levers of power. This scandal exposed how political connections and influence could be used to manipulate state resources for personal gain, undermining democracy and economic stability. The Panama Papers and the Pandora Papers exposed a shadow world of hidden wealth and tax evasion, implicating the powerful and elite. These revelations showed how the rich and powerful use offshore accounts and complex financial structures to hide their wealth and avoid taxes, contributing to global inequality. Corruption, it seems, knows no borders, a global scourge that undermines trust and perpetuates inequality. It erodes the social fabric, weakens institutions, and hinders development. The fight against corruption requires a concerted effort from all sectors of society, including governments, businesses, civil society, and individuals. Only through collective action can we hope to build a more transparent, accountable, and just world. The consequences of corruption are devastating and far-reaching. When public funds are looted, it is the most vulnerable who suffer the most. Hospitals remain understaffed and ill-equipped, schools crumble, depriving children of a quality education. Infrastructure projects stall, hindering economic growth. Corruption erodes trust in government, breeds cynicism, and stifles progress. It creates a climate of impunity, where the powerful operate above the law and the voices of the people are silenced. Behind the statistics and headlines lie countless stories of shattered dreams and broken lives. Parents who can't afford to send their children to school, families struggling to access basic health care, young people robbed of opportunities, their potential left unfulfilled. The emotional toll of this betrayal is immeasurable. It breeds a sense of hopelessness, a feeling that the system is rigged against them. It erodes their faith in democracy and fuels a deep-seated cynicism towards those in power. The story of these Nigerian leaders serves as a stark reminder of the importance of accountability and transparency in governance. Power, when unchecked, corrupts. It is imperative that we hold our leaders accountable for their actions and demand transparency in the way our resources are managed. We must strengthen institutions tasked with fighting corruption, empower civil society organizations, and foster a culture of accountability at all levels of society. Reclaiming the power, a roadmap for action. Change begins with each and every one of us. We must be vigilant in demanding good governance, holding our leaders accountable for their promises. We must educate ourselves about the issues, engage in constructive dialogue, and exercise our right to vote wisely. Support investigative journalism, amplify the voices of those speaking truth to power, and demand consequences for those who betray the public trust. Together, we can build a brighter future, one free from the shackles of corruption. The journey ahead will be long and arduous, but we must never lose sight of hope. As we walk this path, we must remember that every step we take, is a step towards a brighter future. The road may be filled with obstacles, but with unity and perseverance, we can overcome any challenge. Our strength lies in our ability to come together as a community, to support one another, and to keep pushing forward, no matter how difficult the journey may seem. The power to create a more just and equitable society rests in our hands. It is up to us to take action, to stand up for what is right, and to ensure that every voice is heard. By participating in our democracy, by voting, and by advocating for change, we can make a difference. We must believe in our ability to shape the future and work tirelessly to build a society where justice and equality are not just ideals, but realities for all. Let us honor the sacrifices of those who have fought for a better future. Our history is rich with stories of bravery and resilience, of individuals who stood up against oppression and fought for freedom. These heroes have paved the way for us, and it is our duty to continue their legacy. By remembering their struggles and celebrating their victories, we can draw inspiration and strength to face the challenges of today. Let us channel their courage and determination as we forge a path towards a brighter tomorrow. The youth of today are the leaders of tomorrow, and it is their energy and passion that will drive us forward. By embracing our cultural heritage and working together, we can build a future that honors our past and looks forward to new possibilities. Whether in the fields, in the streets, or in our homes, every effort counts, and every person has a role to play. Let us build a Nigeria, and indeed a world, where promises are kept, dreams are realized, and the voices of the people are heard. Our vision for the future is one where every child has access to education, where every family can thrive, and where our communities are strong and vibrant. By investing in our infrastructure, supporting our schools, and fostering economic growth, we can create a society that reflects our highest aspirations. The time for change is now. We stand at a pivotal moment in history, with the opportunity to shape the future for generations to come. Let us seize this moment with determination and hope, knowing that together, we can achieve greatness. The dawn of a new day is upon us, and with it comes the promise of a brighter, more just, and more equitable world. Let us move forward with courage and conviction, ready to make our dreams a reality.